doing well.
With apologies, Sam, I just want to bring you the very latest on 8 men who've been found not guilty of murdering 3 friends during last year's riots in Birmingham, a news conference by the police.
In terms of the case itself, obviously we now know the results and we respect the decision of the jury. As far as we were concerned, there was a painstaking investigation by West Midlands Police. They came to us at a very early stage of the investigation. We advised them throughout on the evidence. We were all clear, as far as we were concerned, that the evidence showed that there was sufficient evidence to provide a realistic prospect of conviction for murder for all 8 accused. Obviously the jury disagreed, but that was our decision based on the evidence presented to us. There were a number of senior lawyers involved, including independent counsel, and we were all agreed on that. We would like to thank the witnesses who came forward to assist the prosecution. It was obviously a very difficult case, and no doubt those of you who heard the evidence will understand why. So far as the outcome of the case is concerned, I hope that the community of Winson Green and beyond can recover from this decision and that they can move on, as Mr. Jahan has clearly demonstrated throughout the course of these proceedings, and forgive and move on and try to rebuild the lives and the interests of the community. Again, I want to conclude by sending our condolences to the families of the deceased. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ireland. Can I echo the points made at the start and the end of Mr. Ireland's piece there, just to recognise the devastating impact this has had, particularly on the 2 families concerned, but indeed on the wider community and all the communities. We've continued to support the families throughout. We will do that again, and probably even more so today of all days, and we do recognise how difficult a time this is for all concerned. Mr. Ireland and I have to take a few short questions, if you would wish to do that.
Mr. Cairn, I'm Ben Adder from BBC News. Are you concerned about trouble in Winson Green this evening in the light of these verdicts, and what are you going to do about that?
Well, we do, as I've just said, recognise how difficult this has been for all the communities in the West Midlands, particularly those in Winson Green and the immediate surrounding area. We talk to and listen to our communities on a daily basis. It's the key activity of our local neighbourhood teams. They'll be doing that today, and we're going to put extra efforts in, special efforts in this afternoon and this evening to make sure that we speak to people and pick up any signs that might be causing them concern. If they raise concerns with us, we'll deal with them. We're here to help. If we need some extra officers to help reassure people, then we'll provide those extra officers. But I would just go back to the comments of the judge, and indeed the comments of Mr. Jahan and others, that this is not really a time for anything other than reflection and reconciliation.
The judge also found the evidence from the senior investigating officer to be unreliable, didn't he? What's your take on that?
As soon as that was brought to our attention, immediately we referred that to the Independent Police Complaints Commission, and I know that they've launched a thorough, wide-ranging independent investigation into those matters. We await the findings of that. We'll cooperate fully with it. At some point in due course, no doubt it will be made public.
But hasn't that let the community down?
Well, we will await the findings of that investigation. It will be made public in due course. We shall see what it says. All I would say on that, though, is that whatever the officers are alleged to have done, had it been so serious as to require the halt of the trial, then that's what the judge would have ordered, and he specifically did not do that. He let it go to a jury.
Do you accept it was a mistake not to disclose the fact that immunity had been offered to some of those eyewitnesses until it was too late in the trial for the defence to cross-examine those witnesses?
Well, that was the very matter that the judge considered and ruled upon, and indeed, as I've just said, much of that, indeed all of that, is subject now to independent investigation by the Independent Police Complaints Commission, and we need to await their findings, and when we have their findings we shall respond appropriately.
But do you accept a lack of doing this properly has cost the outcome of this trial?
No, it was agreed in court that the disclosure could have been managed differently in a more swift way, but as I say, had any alleged failing there been so serious as to need to halt the trial, then that's what would have happened, and that most specifically did not happen.
But is it correct that the judge found that the senior investigating officer had lied under oath?
That was a finding that the judge made, but as I've said, had that matter been so serious as to require the halting of the trial, that's what he would have done. He did not. My understanding is that that raises a very specific issue at a very specific time and didn't have a wider application around the integrity of the trial.
It did still result in a lot of the evidence from witnesses being described as wholly unreliable by the judge.
Well, as I say, had the impact of that alleged behaviour been so serious as to require the halting of the trial, that's what would have happened. Of course, there were implications for that, but none of those implications were regarded as being so sufficient to mean that the trial couldn't go to a jury. And in fact, it's also true to say that it was commented that the overwhelming public interest, the overriding interest of justice required that it did continue and did go to a jury. And as I say, that's what happened.
Has DCI Anthony Tagg been suspended from duty?
No officer has been suspended from duty. The matter is subject to the Independent Police Complaints Commission investigation that I've just referred to. Should anything come to our attention through that process, of course we'll consider it, and if it goes towards a need to suspend people, we'll consider it at that point when such information is brought to our attention, if indeed it ever is.
Is that in the IPCC inquiry examining allegations of perjury?
I don't have details of the full terms of reference of that investigation.
How many officers are they examining that you're aware of?
I don't have the details of their full terms of reference of that inquiry.
Is it more than one though? Is it more than
I don't have the details of the terms of reference of that inquiry. I don't know what their scope is in terms of their inquiry.
Who does?
West Midlands Police holding a news conference after 8 men found not guilty of murdering 3 friends during last year's riots in Birmingham. Abdul Musavir, Shahzad Ali and Harun Jahan were killed when they were hit by a car in August of last year. 8 men found not guilty of their murder.